Greetings and salutations, my name is Mika and welcome back to my channel. I have been MIA for a while. The last Etihad video I did was in June, I think. It's the one where I was talking about Kylie and whatnot, so it's gonna be up there. And then I was around. I just wanted to let people know who follow me here on YouTube and not on Instagram, because if you follow me on Instagram, links in the description box, you know what I have been up to and what has been going on. But those of you who are only watching my YouTube videos, I put up those Jinx and Vibe playlists just to let you know that no, this channel is not dead and I'm not gone. It's just I was working on other things, and so it's my gallery. So I opened my own gallery, HMVC Gallery New York, which is online. So we had our first show last month in September. We launched in August. So Vincent and I, we have been very, very busy with the gallery. So Vincent is a co-founder, and yeah, so that's what's been happening recently. I probably should upload those shows because I filmed them, the group shows. I filmed them, so I probably should upload them here actually. Yeah, so people can take a look. Okay, meant or not, do that. But yeah, basically, so people, artists, people who make art can apply to our group show, and then if you get selected, you will be obviously part of the group show, and then yeah, you have the chance to win your own solo show. Both on our website and on ArtPlacer, which is a virtual gallery space platform. So we do both. And now we also started offering artists a chance to do their own solo show. So they don't have to do the group show and then hope that they win their solo from that, but they can actually skip all that and then do their own solo show with us. So yes, so we have been very busy the last few months, but it's very rewarding, honestly, you guys. I will talk about Etihad and whatnot, but yeah, I gotta say it's very rewarding to work for yourself. All right, so that is that little plug-in. So my Etihad Airways journey. So yeah, last time we talked about health and how I finished training and I got pneumonia and stuff like that, and how to I gave you a few tips how to take care of yourself if you're flying, and in general as well. So this time I'm gonna talk about the first 3 flights, because when you finish training, you're gonna do these things called Supi flights. So you get to practice before they actually throw you on. So my first Supi flight was to Istanbul, and that was on Airbus 330. So you do all the planes that you did those. You had to do the exams and whatnot. So yes, so 330, Airbus 330, Boeing 777, and Airbus 320, 319. So we had to do those, which is good because if like you are fresh off the academy, so obviously you basically know everything, but it's very different once you get on board and you start actually like working, because there is, in the beginning, there's the safety aspect, because we check the plane, we check the equipment, stuff like that, and then the passengers, they come on board, so there are a lot of things we have to do during the boarding. In business class and first class, obviously you give drinks and stuff like that, but in economy it's like assisting passengers, stuff like that, but also security, because we are screening passengers all the time. In all of the cabins, you're screening if somebody's intoxicated or if they don't feel well, stuff like that, you know. So like families, if parents are struggling with their young kids and stuff like that. So there's a lot of that's going on, and obviously in the academy you don't get to see that or experience that. So it's great that, I imagine all airlines do this, hopefully they all do this, that they give you these chances that you get to train on each plane for 1 day and yeah, really get to see what's going on, but you don't get penalized for that. So basically, so my Istanbul flight was very early in the morning. Is one of those things you have to get up at 5 a.m. or something to just to do the hair and the makeup and get ready, breakfast, whatever, and then go for the briefing. And the briefing, we would have safety security the aircraft quizzes and first aid as well. So the cabin manager, the purser, they would ask us, they would have like a list of questions that they would ask everybody. So they would ask you something like, let's say first aid is like, somebody complains about chest pain, so, and you don't know if it's a heart attack or if it's heartburn or something, what kind of medicine would you give them? So then you need to answer the question, well, okay, I would give aspirin. And if you don't answer the question correctly, if you don't get the correct answer, they can actually offload you from that flight, because they are like, okay, you are not ready for this flight because you don't know your shit, basically. So that's what happens in the briefings, and then go over the flight information, stuff like that. And then we get on board and start doing our checks and whatnot. And then, but because I was practicing, obviously, so if I answered the question wrong, I wouldn't be penalized, because this flight is for me to practice. So I would still have a position and go over like all my duties and whatnot. And then I would actually have the choice that I wouldn't have to actually deal with the passengers technically, because I would just observe. Like, we had the option that you can just observe, you don't need to help or do the service, just observe. But obviously they made it very clear in the academy that this is your, you know, chance to practice. So why miss that opportunity? Because once, after these 3 practice flights are done, you are a fully fledged whatever cabin crew, and so now your team expects you to literally know your shit and be professional and basically just do a good job. So you don't get to practice anymore, you need to be knowing what you're doing. So obviously I was like, no, I'll be there with you guys, just tell me like where am I doing the service, what is my area and stuff like that. So I did it. Istanbul flight, it's from Abu Dhabi to Istanbul, it was like 4 hours or something. It's a very long day. 7 a.m. briefing, we come back at like 8 p.m. or something. It's literally a whole day of semi-grueling work. And yeah, it was fine. I mean, obviously, kind of like, I guess I kind of look like a deer in the headlights, like trying to be professional, trying to be like, yeah, I got this. But it was exciting. There are a couple of passengers who had some issues with the food or something, and you just kind of have to deal with it. But yeah, that was one. And then Boeing 777, that was to Bangkok. My first time going to Bangkok. And it was one of those flights that the timing is a little bit odd. We left Abu Dhabi in the evening, like 7 or something, and we landed into Bangkok at like 7 a.m. or something. And so yeah, that flight was fine. But Bangkok, I guess many airlines, I mean, Bangkok is notoriously difficult flight. Is just because everybody's in a holiday mode and like they drink a lot. Like, it's not like European airlines, or I guess even American airlines, like in general the US airlines, that in economy it's like you get charged for those drinks or the extra snacks and whatever. So people, they don't go as wild as like these Middle Eastern airlines, where in economy you can basically drink as much as you want. But the cabin crew, we are looking at you. So it's like, because on that flight I had a lot of Russians, for example, and they would be asking for one vodka, one whiskey, one red wine, one white wine. British as well, they would do this as well. Germans sometimes, but they were mostly like about the beer and the wines. So like it can be a very difficult and a kind of wild flight for us. So yeah, I remember being there kind of like, oh, like it takes me a while just to finish with one person, like to give them the food and the drinks and whatever. So it's not like this, because I like to be very dynamic. It's like, what do you want? Which drink? Here is your food. There you go. Blah blah blah. But no, people would be asking a lot of stuff, and then they're kind of like, okay, like the person like in the other aisle, they're already like 3 rows ahead of me, and I'm still giving this one guy his drinks. So it's kind of like, So that was interesting, especially because yeah, I just started flying, literally just started flying. So then we landed into Bangkok, and I made the mistake. I mean, I wasn't used to that schedule, you know, like people. Okay, for well, so now that Vincent and I, so I don't fly anymore, obviously, and so we went to Finland. Vincent and I, we went to Finland recently, and from New York to Helsinki, the jet lag we experience in Finland, in Helsinki, is horrendous. I have never, even when I was flying, I never had such horrendous jet lag ever. 6 years of flying. I would get periods of insomnia that I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks in a row or 3 weeks in a row. Like I would only sleep for 3 hours or something, and that's it. Like I couldn't sleep anymore. But that would be like only once a year, and I was like, okay, this is what this is about. But the jet lag, once we go to Helsinki, it lasts for a week or so, and it's literally horrible because like you are dead, we are dead by 6 p.m. and then it's like I can't stay awake anymore. It doesn't matter how much coffee or Red Bull I drink or whatever, I can't stay awake anymore. So then go to bed, and at midnight or 1 a.m. we wake up like this, and we're like, I can't sleep anymore. I can't. So it's horrendous. So this was one of those moments that we land into Bangkok. I go to bed, me and this other girl, because sometimes we would have, it would be 2 of us, like 2 Supis doing the flight together. So it wouldn't feel so lonely or like, oh, I'm so out of place, I don't know what's going on. So it would be the 2 of you. So me and this other girl, we are like, okay, the hotel would give us a bus that goes to a shopping mall nearby. So we are like making plans. So we are like, okay, we are gonna sleep, and then we are gonna go and do some shopping or lunch at the shopping mall. And the other girls, they're kind of like, no, you should stay awake, because don't forget, the next day your wake up is at 3 a.m. because we leave the hotel at 5 a.m. Something like that, like super early, super bloody early. So we are like, oh no, we have to sleep. So we sleep, and I think we go to the shopping mall at 2 or 3 or 4 p.m, something like that. And then it's like, okay, at midnight it's now time to sleep because we have such an early wake up. I can't sleep. I couldn't sleep. It was awful. I'm like 3 a.m. I'm still like, I haven't slept a wink, and I have to get up in 1 hour or in 2 hours or something, and I can't sleep. I couldn't sleep. It was awful. So thank God the flight wasn't full. It was actually quite empty. Because we had like 5 flights to Bangkok per day or something like that at that time, 2014. So yeah, I'm dying on the jump seat, and I'm like trying to drink that coffee, like the airplane coffee, which I really don't recommend. The water is not clean. It's not gonna kill you or give you food poisoning, but it's like, it's not clean. The coffee and tea on board, just don't do it. Don't do it. The water is not clean. So there I'm dying on the jump seat. I'm like, and then thank God I wasn't like working. So like the manager said like, yeah, it's okay, just rest, and yeah, I can see you are not so well. I did do the service and everything, and then obviously because you're still technically in training, so yeah, you're practicing on the flight and training, but they also, the cabin managers, they have a checklist of the plane, so they need to tell you everything. Basically they need to hold your hand and say, okay, this is that, and they go over the checklist to see that you have completed that aircraft. So they would ask you questions like, okay, what is this and where is that, and then tick, and then they would have to sign that, okay, now you're fine. Basically is that you have completed Boeing 777, your Supi flight. So I have to do that as well. So yeah, that was my Bangkok flight. And then the last flight, 320, was to Beirut. It was again one of those flights that it takes the whole day basically, but that one was so 320, I hated 320s because those planes are so bloody small, and it's the galley in the back that we have is teeny tiny, and the galley in the front, there is no space literally for us. Same for the passengers. Yeah, let's be clear here, 320s are very small planes, especially in Europe. They are old and they're small, so I hated those, and you feel everything on those planes, so any little turbulence or whatever, you feel it. So I would sometimes get actually motion sickness when I was in economy, like at the back, I would get motion sickness. Like I hated those planes. So in this time to Beirut, I was by myself, so I didn't have a other Supi with me. And this cabin manager person, he was very tough. He was a very unpleasant person. And then when it was time to go over the checklist, so I would have to answer, I was answering all the questions or whatever, and he brings me to the front to business class just to kind of take a look, and we talk about the cockpit and whatever. And then he's asking me like, okay, where is the slide draft, where is it? And I'm like, it's here in the bustle, it's in the door actually, it's not underneath, because on some planes it's actually underneath the door. So I'm like, it's here. And he's like, no, where is it? I'm like, here, like it's like I'm like trying to articulate myself and be like, it's here, it's right here, and like there's the pouch, and then it comes out when we open the door and so on. And he is just so convinced that I'm wrong that he starts to get upset that I'm giving him the wrong answer. I'm like, no, no, the one in the belly is here, it's usually at the L3RT, that's where it's in the belly. And he's like, but this is not that kind of plane. I'm like, I know, I'm telling you, it's here, like you told me not to touch it, but it's here, I'm telling you, it's here, the door has it. And he is like now really getting in my face and being like, hey, listen, you know, like if you don't get this right, like I can pass you, like I'm telling you, we have to go to the office once we land in the evening and be like, you didn't complete your 320. And I'm almost starting to cry there. I'm kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong because I'm giving you the right answer. And then the guy in business class working with the person, the business class crew, like even he's like, now he jumps in and he's like, mate, like, so what are you asking her? Because now you're confusing me and I have been flying for 3 years. So then the person tells the same thing to the guys, like, where is it, the raft? And the guy's like, it's here. That is it. This is where the raft is. And he's like, no. So now even this semi-experienced crew, even he is kind of like, hey, listen, like now you're confusing me as well, you know, and I have done my recurrent recently. I went back to the academy to do my exams. I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Purser. And then he kind of gives up and he's like, okay, tick, passed, I pass you. And then he signs the bloody thing. And I go to the guy, I'm like, thank you so much. And he's like, no, this guy, there's something going on with him because like either this guy and our English is so crappy that this guy, it just doesn't understand us or whatever, or he is telling me the wrong thing on purpose because he is so deep into his like own wrong answer that he can't backtrack because he's the purser, he's supposed to know everything. So he can't tell this girl who just started to tell her that, yeah, you know what, you're right, my mistake, I made a mistake, this is bullshit what I'm saying, basically, you are correct. So that sort of thing. But it was like I felt it in my stomach, basically. My stomach like dropped. I'm like, then what? Not only did I miss my first month of flying basically because I was sick, I'm on probation, and now this guy wants to fail my 320 Supi flight. So I was like all kinds of like feelings at that moment. So, and clearly I still remember that clearly. So that was unpleasant, but obviously I passed, and then everything was fine, and I started flying like for real. And I did Bangkok and Beirut a lot that month. That was July, I think. So I went back and forth, Bangkok, Beirut, whatever. Did that a lot. And then after 6 months, they would like review my file or whatever, like what's going on with me, and then decide if they want to hire me or hire you, like permanently, obviously. And then everything was fine, but I remember getting closer to that 6 month time limit or whatever. I felt a little bit nervous. I was like, okay, I was sick, so what's gonna happen? But obviously they kept me because I was there for 6 years. But yeah, I'd say honestly, like I said during those like the interviews when they gave you the training where they give you those workbooks to do. So the same thing I would say for these Supis, like you have the option not to do anything except the checklist. but honestly seize the moment, like don't be lazy, seize the moment, just jump in, help your colleagues see what is this thing is really about. So don't waste that opportunity. And then it's a good way to bond with those crews, your crew as well, and then kind of like get an early head start, like, you know, how to deal with these situations, like this stupid cabin manager person who was giving me a hard time even though I was giving him the right answer. So that sort of thing. So you can kind of like get a feeling of like what this is going to be about basically. And yeah, during those flights, if you make mistakes, like you talk to the passenger in like a wrong way, or somebody's upset with you for whatever reason, upset with you, or you spill something on somebody, so the persons, they won't penalize you. They shouldn't actually. So they should be like the guiding, yeah, just take you by the hand and guide you through that. So that's the time to make mistakes, because once you start, you're like flying properly and you are just one of the crew and you make mistakes, it is on you. So that's it, my first 3 Supi flights. And then everything just went up from there. Yeah, I was in economy a year plus, like year 3 months, something like that. And then I was promoted to business class, and I was 9 months in business class. And then the last 4 years I was in first class. So that was a good time, I would say, especially like with Etihad, because Etihad was growing so fast. So they were hiring new crew and promoting very, very fast. So I feel like I was very blessed actually to be able to catch that like moment or that window or whatever. So yeah, and like obviously I have so many stories, like difficult passengers, difficult crew. I wanted to do this difficult crew for the longest time. It's like how to deal with, I mean, my stories of having to deal with a difficult crew member or with a difficult colleague, because oh my gosh, those stories. Like people, like I want to say crazy, honestly. Some people are just plain crazy. I know, like nowadays you're not supposed to say that. If somebody calls me crazy, I love it. I'm like, yes, I am bloody crazy. I love it. I know some people, they don't like that word, but I'm like, sometimes crazy is warranted. Yeah, doesn't matter, man, woman, non-binary, whatever. Doesn't matter. Sometimes crazy is just warranted. But let's just say some of those people I met, yeah, were wild, but not the nice kind of wild. So I have like so many stories. I mean, not so many. I do have so many stories, but not so many. So it's like the people are fine. Most of them are fine. So I don't want to scare you that, you know, you think that all cabin crew are just crazy and wild and whatever. That is so not the case. I'm exaggerating, okay? And also like my favorite destinations, because I traveled a lot, even before I joined Etihad, mostly in Europe, but I have traveled some. So like my favorite destinations that I got to visit and experience because of Etihad. So stuff like that, because like now the main stuff is basically done, because yeah, we went over the interviews and then the training and then like health, because taking care of your health when you're flying is so bloody important, like I can't tell you. But yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and please check out HMVC Gallery New York. I'll put everything in the links below. In the description box down there. So yeah, check it out, especially if you're an artist. So why not apply to a group show? And if you follow the theme, what I need from you is follow the theme, 4K pictures, good quality pictures, artist statement and artist bio. So yeah, and also follow our Instagram, our HMVC Gallery Instagram as well. So everything is down there. Again, once again, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, because those do help me, and I have new subscribers, so hello and welcome. So yeah, I will see you next time. So bye, ciao.